Hey everyone, another little detail I forgot, which is going to come back to bite me, is a way to pick these blocks up easy. With my gantry crane here, I can pretty much do this by myself except for one step, which we'll be doing tomorrow. As long as I remember to do this freaking step, and that is to add pieces of conduit so that I can stick a bar through there later and lift it with my gantry. So I forgot to do that on the other ones, so it's going to be a bit of a beast, but these aren't too big, so it shouldn't be too bad. Now I'm going to cover the rest of this with sand, and at least I'll have one I can pick up easier. Here we're going to open up this vent mold so you can see what that's about. There it is, and see light through there. So we'll cut these in lengths and stack them on top of the mold where the vents come out. There'll be 2 or 3 of them. We'll get to that later. Okay, I pulled the flask off, flipped it over. We're gonna pull the pattern board off. There we go. Now we have our negative image of our pattern. You can see some of these little bumps and edges on here. So what I'm going to do now is take, this is a big diamond wheel. So I'm just going to use this to sand this down lightly to get rid of some of these big nuggies. There's little gaps, it never lays quite perfectly flat, so that's why I put a couple screws in it, just to really suck it down tight. That way no sand gets underneath it and changes the surface, which is an issue that I'll explain later. A lot of steps to this and a lot of not knowing why stuff is happening, but it'll all come together in later videos. And by the way, I'm starting to post all this stuff onto my YouTube site, which is Greg Volker Music. It's music and it's more. All this other stuff I'm doing, I put on there as well. So go ahead and follow me on Instagram, Greg Volker Music. I'm gonna make a couple more of these and we'll be back to make a core. All right, everyone, here we are. Next step is going to be to grind the 2 halves of the mold to make sure that if there's any bow or it's not completely flat or warped plane on the surface of the molds, that they are completely flush with each other and in contact. That way no metal will squirt out the sides. So we're going to get a little Egyptian here and grind these blocks. My buddy Steven is here to help me out. Many of you may recognize him. Okay, grind away.
Building pyramid.
Yeah, building a Roman column. So now I'm looking just to make sure that the whole surface has been ground, and maybe just a little bit on these corners, but as long as it's flat in like this kind of area, we're totally golden, so we don't have to do that again. We're done. So now I'm gonna vacuum clean this out really good, put it together and stand it up with the other one so we can pour in the core sand, which I'll be showing you shortly as well. All right, so let's vacuum this out. Okay, now we are going to band this to hold it together so when we stand it upright, it won't fall apart. Disconnect here for a minute. So now you can see we have the mold with a big hole in it, which is where the pattern was on the pattern board. Stephen, the pattern board is leaning against that plywood over there. We just set it up there for me. So now the job is to fill this cavity with sand again. And then we're going to open it up, and then we'll have basically a positive. Yeah, so you can see this guy right here. If you look at it from the end, that's what we're looking down at. Two of those back to back here. So we're gonna fill that with sand. I'm gonna do that maybe later tonight. So we'll get to that next. Okay, we are ready to pour our sand in and make our cores. So a couple steps, a couple things involved in that. We have this cavity here now we need to fill with sand. And on the pattern board, you can see that there is a significant weak point in this mold. The bane of my existence for all these pieces, and that is here on the neck, where the head is very narrow. So to be able to get this whole thing out of the mold as a solid core, I need some structure in there, so I use some all thread. The all thread will go down through the middle like this. The other thing you'll see here is this notch. This is called core pin, or a lot of different names for it, but this is to help keep the core centered in the middle of the two blocks once it's all shaved down, and to lock it in place so it won't twist and turn or move or slide around. And there's a few different tricks to that, which we will show you when we reassemble the mold and when we're carving the core. So for now, I'm going to put the phone on the tripod here. We'll start mixing some sand, and then we'll start mixing a little bit, and then we'll put this all thread in like rebar, basically just adding some structure to it. And then because it's a long narrow channel in there, I use some dowels to get in here and ram the sand down in there. And I just have to be careful I don't scrape the sides, because that will leave marks that will show up. You know, different sized dowels help me get around the core. So that's what I'll be doing. I mix a little sand. A lot of people will add sawdust or do different things with their cores to have them a little softer, so that when the metal shrinks around it, the metal won't crack. It allows the metal to shrink around the core when the metal's in there. I don't do that just because I need it really hard so I get some accurate carving done in there. When I put the sawdust in and you hit a big chunk of the sawdust, pulls out a big spot, leaves a big gap. But I will show you what all that's about when we get to shaving the cores down. So I'm going to get you on the tripod now and mix some sand. And tomorrow we will start working on the core, shaving the core. All right, so what we have now here is what is fundamentally a solid block of sand. So we've got the drag as the bottom, the cope is the top, and the core. So now I got to open it up, get the core out, and then we have to make room for the metal to pour in. So we'll show you how to do all that. So here it is. And we'll see what it is in the metal. Now, my buddy Steven is here again.
Hey.
I have to separate this mold now with no conduit in there.
Why there's no conduit?
Why is there no conduit, Steven asks.
Steven
Why
asks,
you
why the
ask
fuck
why
is
is
there
there
no
no
conduit
conduit in
there?
there?
Yep.
Because I'm an idiot and I forgot, but I already said that earlier.
And are you going to apologize to Steven's back?
Steven, yes, Steven will get beers and drinks and whatever he desires after this. But this is gonna suck because there's no easy way to lift this, and it's gonna suck. Anyways, so now you get to watch us struggle at 3,000% regular speed to get this thing open. Here we are, ready to start working on one side of the, oops, I already screwed up. So anyways, I marked where I want my solid spots so I have metal behind the mosquitoes. Now I've got to take this out and flip it over, but I can still talk about it here. Anyways, the easiest way to shave down a core and know you're getting the right amount of material removed is to use something like this. This is just part of a Sawzall blade, and it's taped off to the thickness of the metal I want. Actually, I've got to pull this out to do this, so hold on a second. And then you just zigzag across and then shave the rest down until all these lines are gone. So zigzag any which old way. All right, so sometimes I like to use site-specific landscapes for the aerial views. So what I did was I got my buddy, Greg Volker in the River band member Jake Johnson is down harvesting on the family farm right now, and so I'm going to use their farm on one side of this piece, and so I got it up on Google Earth, and I'm going to give it a try.
Concern. We both know that's not true.
your faces, both you with your fucking snowy white hair and you with your thin little mustache. You're like a charming lesbian couple.
Thank you. Look, you guys ran up another 10 on top of the 15.
Whoa, 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 whoa. We said 15. You were supposed to win the party when the shit ran out.
Fuck.
How can you be so stupid?
How the fuck did you
Something wrong? No, we were celebrating our anniversary in Sayulita. She started getting these headaches. Blood clot.
I should be at home.
Is Donovan?
Okay. There it's going. The core is coming up with it.
Here's my other question. Is there any reason why we just don't let the shims in and we try to pull up the shims in case this is the same?
Because it's not enough to hold the weight. They're only in about that.
Oh, I was just thinking separate. But that's
No, we could kind of carve some handles in, but I don't really know if it actually helps that much, and we could just then break that chunk off.
Yeah.
So like I said, it's just but like I said, the core is coming up with it. So once it does come up, here it's coming. Get it. Yeah, excellent. All right, dude, got it.
Can we get the core out of there so we don't have to worry about it?
After we gotta put this laid on its back, and we're gonna,
Yeah.
bar is gonna hit that. So. Okay. Good. Okay, your fingers should be room to on the edge for your fingers. Excellent. All right. Perfect. Awesome.
And we didn't have to bend over.
Huh? And we didn't have to bend over much. Way easier than.
Yep.
Down. So let's see how this pops up. Oh. Oh. Beautiful. Will you grab the air hose under the pillow there? And just blow this out.